Hey guys, what's up? Today we are doing Game of Thrones. Really excited to do this tutorial for you guys. Tuning, if you have piccolo strings, you can tune the way I'm tuned, which is A, D, A, D from low to high, A, D, A, D. If you don't have piccolo strings, what you want to do is stay in standard tuning, E, A, D, G, but you want to take your E string and bring it down a whole step to a D, and take your A string and bring it down a whole step to a G. So then you are tuned D, G, D, G, which is pretty much, which is equivalent in terms of intervals with what I'm tuned in, A, D, A, D. You're tuned D, G, D, G at a lower pitch, but you can still follow along with the patterns I'm doing, and as I say every time, it will sound like Game of Thrones, but it will be lower in pitch. So let's go ahead and have a look at what this arrangement is going to be. Okay, let's have a look at the introduction. By the way, when I'm referring to the strings, I'll refer to them in their normal name. I'll call this the E string, this the A string, this the D string, this the G string, because that's how we know the instrument. So the introduction starts off using the frets on the 15th, 17th, and 19th on our G string, and also the 17th on the D string. And the pattern goes like this. But what I'm going to do is hold down your second finger on the 17th fret on your D string, because this will create a sustain, and while that's sustaining, you can play other notes and it'll make it sound more full. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to start off by having your pinky on the 19th fret and you're on the G string, and your middle finger, your second finger on the 17th fret on the D string. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be doing something like this. So your second finger is going to stay down, and then you're going to go. So you're going to have this sort of shape. Okay, at one point in time you're going to have this shape with your second finger and your first finger on the 15th fret. Another point in time you're going to have this shape, and another point in time you're going to have that shape right there. So it looks like this. And notice how these two notes on the 19th fret on the G string and on the 17th fret of the D string are longer than, so those two notes are short then. Okay, and what that does is it sounds better than. And that's because of the sustain that's happening there. Okay, so let's see how many times we do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now on the 5th time, what you're going to do is you're going to come in with your A string, your open A string. I know that might be tuned to a different note, but we'll call it the A string. And then what you're going to do is it's going to become, it was a minor little scale that you're doing, now it's going to become major. Instead of, you're going to shift it up a half step, just the 15th fret one. So it's now going to be 16, 17, 19. So it's going to sound like this. And that's the little change that happens there. Okay, so I'll do this, the intro again, very, very slowly, and then we'll move on to the next section. 2, 3, 4, here it comes. 4. And then you're going to do this sort of slowly, because it's going to go into the let's call it that section, the verse right there. It's going to go into that. So you do end on the sort of hangs there, and you slow it down a little bit, and that prepares you for the shift. Okay, let's look at the next section, the verse. Okay, there's 2 sections to the verse. There's a sort of one in the lower octave and one in the higher octave. So let's split those up. The way to think about this verse is there's 4 different chords. So what will help you process and memorize the piece is thinking about each section. You have like the introduction and the verse and the chorus, if you will. But within those, you also have particular chords, and there's patterns and little riffs within those chords, and that's a nice way of breaking it down, remembering it. So to start off, the melody looks like this. And then that's the note that the chord changes. Okay, so what we're looking at is 7th, all on the G string, 7th fret, open, 3, 5, 7, open, 3, 5, 1. Okay, and the harmony note whilst you're doing this is going to be your open A string. And there's different ways of playing the harmony. You can play it a little bit more complicated. Or you can just sort of pedal it, like have it sustain. Basically, when there's a break, strum that A string there, okay, to give it that fullness. Okay, so after, when we get to this note here, the chord's going to change. All right, so let's just go through that first bit very slowly again. That's where it changes, okay? Okay, so on this note here, we need a new chord, and this A string is ringing out. We don't want that. So we come down with our thumb on the E string, which is the correct chord right there, and also we stop the A string from ringing out. Okay, and that's what we want. Wow, that's what we want right there. Okay, so the riff in the second section here in the verse goes like this. Okay, what that is 3rd fret on the D string, open G, 2nd fret on the G string, open D, open, now open D. Okay, so we have okay, now as that last note is ringing out, what we want to do is come up with our right hand and get a couple filler notes in, all right? Because what we're doing is we're shifting the 3rd part of this verse, the 3rd chord, we're going to be tapping with our right hand. So we want to make sure we're in position to do that in good time. Okay, so we have All right, so we're doing that 3 times. Three riffs right there, okay? Well, I was listening back to Game of Thrones original actually, and the number of times that they do it varies each time, so it doesn't matter too much in terms of I have to play the 1, 2, 3. You know, that doesn't matter too much. You want to probably generally keep it around 3 or 4 times that you're doing the little riff right there, and it'll sound fine. So let's see how many times we're doing this. 1, 2, 3. So I do it 3 times, and then I come with a shift. And then I'm in position for the 3rd section of this verse, which is going to look like this. Okay, obviously with the left hand, just hammering on the 3rd fret of the E string, a nice steady beats. And the right hand is 5th fret on the G string, 3rd fret on the D string, then 8, 7, 10, and then 10 on the A string. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now, if it helps you, practice each hand, each section by itself, as opposed to in unison. Piano players won't always, for example, play both hands simultaneously when they're first learning a piece. They might learn right hand first, then left hand, and then bring them both together. So it helps you do that. Okay, and the last bit of this section here is just 3, 2 open on the G string. And then we go into our 4th chord. So come down the 10th fret with your 3rd finger on the E string, and then 8th fret on the A string with your 1st finger. And then the top 2 strings are open. And that creates that quite a nice chord there. A little bit scary. Okay, so that's the verse. Let's go through it again one more time very slowly, then I'll go show you guys the higher part to it. 3, 5, 7. 3, 5, 1. Go now with your thumb to get the new harmony note. 1, 2, 3. And try to let those notes ring out. You know, if you went, it wouldn't sound as good as. So I use all 4 of my fingers. I've been practicing using my ring finger for a few years now, and it does get easier. But you could use just your index finger. Just don't pluck down, pluck up, so that you're not. It's like it's that motion as I've shown you guys before, as opposed to that motion, and then you still get that ringing. Okay, let's look at the higher part of the verse. Okay, there's a lot of similarities here, which you'll notice. So you can play that as a harmonic, or you can just come down. Okay, we're on the 19th fret, 12. Same as you did up here. Okay. You know, this changes slightly, just like we did here, except you're then going to come and play the 10th fret on the G string, 12, 14th fret, and then come down with your 2nd finger on the 12th fret. Okay, so let's not worry about that 2nd finger on the 12th fret of the D string yet. It's So here it was. Now it's. Okay, now we're doing something very similar here as we did in the intro, right? Okay. Okay, after that, before we were, now we're, so the melody changes slightly. So you're going to keep on with your thumb, you're going to be plucking that note, and you're going to be coming in with your index finger and playing some melody notes, just in time, so it's fairly straightforward. It's always not easy to be doing this sort of thing, but the rhythms of the melody and the harmony are pretty in line. So the melody goes. So a little bit of a change there from what we've seen. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 2, 2. Just the rhythm. Now, if that's a little bit tricky, no worries. You can always play it by tapping. Okay, so a couple different options there for that section. 12th fret, 14th fret, 15, 14, and then 15 on the D string. Okay, and then it's the last chord in the verse section, and we're going to play it like this. So with your right hand, you're on the 12th fret, tapping those harmonics. And then with your left hand, but as you hammer down on the 12th fret of the A string, the third one, so 1, 2, as you come down that third one, you're gonna with your left hand come in with this at the same time. All right, so that's 8, 10 on the G string, 8, 10. So, and then you're gonna play the 10 before you come and play the 12th fret here, but you have to remember to lift off so you can get that note. So, notice how after I hammer down, my left hand comes off. Okay, now after playing that note, you're going to shift, and we're going to move into the chorus section next. This is a lot of strumming here, and really bring in those melody notes that are coming through. So, okay, so this chord, basically all the chorus section starts with these sort of deep low notes to begin with. Okay, so we're going to slide in with our second finger to the 13th fret on the E string. Okay, and then the chord is, so it's like slide, chord, chord, slide, chord, chord, slide, chord, chord, slide, chord, chord, slide, chord, chord. Okay, so the chord is, I'm putting my ring finger on the 13th fret of the D string, so those are octaves apart, my first finger on the 12th fret of the G string. Okay, so the first note is low bass, the second note I'm doing one of those. Now you could just come down and strum, but make sure that you're muting this note here. Okay, so first note, is low string. The third note is actually just your top string. And then so the middle one, because there's 3, 1, 2, 3, that second one is a strum. So strum, pluck, strum, pluck. And that's how it is throughout these chords, so we want to get that pattern down. This is actually probably the hardest one because you can't get that string in there. It's always tricky, so you almost have to use your fingers for that one as opposed to just strumming with your thumb. You can try to do it. You gotta be careful you don't change the chord though. That doesn't sound good if you get that note in, so. Okay, second chord is 8th fret on the E string with your first finger, 10th fret on the A string with your third finger, open D string, and then pinky on the 10th fret of the G string. So it's a nice chord. So strum, strum, then high note, strum, high note. Okay? And also by coming here first, it gives you time, right? Gives you time. Gives you time to, oh, where are the notes? There we go. Okay? Then third chord is 10th fret of the E string with your first finger, 12th fret of the A string with your ring finger, and then 13th fret of the D string with your fourth finger, and then open 4th string. So then fourth chord is open A string, and then first finger on the 5th fret of the D string, and fourth finger on the 7th fret of the G string. Again, it's the same pattern, okay? Then we go up here, which is obviously first fret on the E string and on the D string. So the way to think about this, by the way, is so the chorus is divided into 2 sections as well. You have that first section here with these chords, first one, second one, third one, fourth one. That's the first bit, and then there's a change here. So you want to sort of put those into compartments, right? Here's the first compartment, here's the first little bit, and here's the next one here. So we have there's slightly change here in the strumming. So we have strum, pluck, pluck, the middle strings. Strum, pluck, pluck, strum, pluck, pluck. Okay, we're gonna keep this same pattern here where we're fretting the E string and the D string, but leaving the A string and the G string open. Okay, so keep that same pattern, 8th fret, 10th fret. Okay, so we have eighth fret, 10th fret. Right, that's the pattern, right, for this second part of the chorus. And on standard bass, it's gonna really sound deep and heavy. Okay, after that, okay, so what that looks like is, sorry, 1 second, my cat is my cat is meowing. Just 1 second, I'll be right back. It's embarrassing. Sorry about that. Okay, so we have, after our, okay, so we're at 7th fret of the G string and open A string. Then the pattern is all on the G string, so 7, open, 3, 5, 7, open, Okay, so we have here we go. Okay, now the chorus, those chords repeat, just like we've been doing. Bass, strum, top note, bass, strum, top note. And then here's a change, okay? So the second time around with the chorus, instead of going, you go to the 8th fret, and then you go to the 7th fret, and just hold that. Okay, so first time around was, second time around is after we do the 8th fret, instead of going to the 10th fret up, we go down, and then we come to our outro of the tune, which we've done before. A little bit more this time. And you could sort of get that harmonic bend there that's happening with those top notes. Okay, so when you're coming into this for the end, again, it's feel. Sort of get louder and get slower at the same time, so that people know that it's coming to the end of the piece. Okay, really hope you enjoyed this arrangement. If you have any questions, please just shoot me over an email. Let me know. Let me know if this if this tutorial went okay for you. Do you need things a bit slower? Happy to help in any way I can. So thanks again for all your support. It really is important to me. It really means a lot. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.